The nickname Paul McCartney absolutely hated. The Beatles came from humble beginnings to become one of the best-selling and perhaps most influential rock bands of all time. The four lads who shook the world, John Lennon, Paul McCartney, George Harrison, and Ringo Starr, soon conquered America, where their arrival and subsequent nationwide live performances on The Ed Sullivan Show kickstarted what came to be known in the mid-1960s as Beatlemania. Some might surmise that being one-fourth of the biggest rock band in the world would be stressful. For every glamorous hotel room or Grammy award, there would be a security-guarded dash to a car or an exhausting tour schedule. However, in his book, 1964, The Eye of the Storm, McCartney recalls that this experience was exactly what he had always craved. You might think that all this was terrible, that it was agonizing, and that we felt like animals in a cage. I can only speak for myself, but I did not feel that way. This was something we had always wanted. So when it actually happened, when the mounted police held back the crowds outside the plaza, I felt like we were the stars at the very center of an exciting film, via CNN. Nevertheless, the widespread adoration that the Beatles received sometimes irked individual band members. For McCartney, whose boyish face stood out in the group, it was the fact that by then he had become known as the Cute Beatle, a nickname that stuck around but which he claims he has always detested. The Cute Beatle. The nickname has annoyed Paul McCartney for years. Speaking to the Daily News in 1989, the songwriter said, "I feel comfortable when people still see me as the Beatle. It's like, once Greta Garbo, always Greta Garbo. You want to be alone, you're still Greta Garbo. Once Brigitte Bardot, always Brigitte Bardot, even when you're saving baby seals. But I don't feel comfortable being the Cute Beatle. I've never really thought I was cute, though I suppose some people think so. Maybe there were moments of cuteness, mostly in the early days. As you get older, the harder edges emerge." Indeed, despite his later achievements as a solo artist and with his band Wings in the 1970s, McCartney remains most known for the work he did with the Fab Four and has taken steps to honor the band's legacy accordingly, by spearheading the Anthology project in the 1990s and, more recently, cooperating with Peter Jackson's blockbuster documentary Get Back. But despite McCartney's contention that his reputation for cuteness was undeserved as he reached maturity, he has never quite shaken the nickname. As late as 2016, McCartney was described using that adjective in a review of a new biography of his life, published by the Columbia Dispatch, as well as articles marking his 80th birthday in 2022. A grown-up direction. I hated that, McCartney told the Howard Stern Show in 2020, referring to how each of the Beatles was labeled by the press via Ultimate Classic Rock. Noting that George was the quiet Beatle and John the witty Beatle, he added, "That's what happens, just he's the cute one." I'd go, "No, I'm not. Don't call me that." I hate it. But once it's said, it kind of sticks. While Paul McCartney could do little to change the cute boyish looks that brought him millions of adoring fans in the early Beatles days, he and his bandmates could certainly signal their maturation through their music, particularly from 1965 onwards. Indeed, 1965 was a pivotal year for the Beatles in terms of their commercial success and artistry, as well as their turn towards more oblique and hard-edged songwriting. In The Beatles Anthology, McCartney recalls playing Bob Dylan some tracks from the band's seminal 1967 album, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, to which Dylan responded, "I get it. You don't want to be cute anymore." However, according to McCartney, the band felt they had turned a corner towards maturity 2 years earlier with the release of Rubber Soul. "We'd had our cute period and now was time to expand," McCartney said.